of our children lived only with their mothers. In 1990, that number was 51.2%. In 1960, finally, 2% of our children had mothers who had never been married. In 1990, that number was 35%. What's happened is that our community has been divided into two. We have two black communities, not one. We probably have more than that. And each of us has a tendency to speak of the black community as if blackness is a class. And we have to decide if blackness really does constitute a class, and if it does, how it does, and if it doesn't, how it doesn't, and what that means. And until we do, until we start with that question, until we recognize the fact that these statistics now exist and that the community that we were children in no longer exists, and there's a new black community or new black communities out there, and if we are trying to put it back together, then we have to recognize that reality and then talk about new solutions to new problems.
That's right.
And that is, I think, the signal failure of our generation of black intellectuals.
That's right.
More often than not, we resort to romantic black nationalism or to some other way to assuage the guilt that we feel, and everybody in here knows what I'm talking about leaving that community behind.
But I don't know what Skip is talking about. I don't feel, I feel like I've come here and I'm going to testify from the location that I inhabit. I don't feel like I've left that community behind.
Okay.
That community's in my life every single day. I mean, what I grapple with consistently is how to juggle. I mean, what I kept thinking about is as we talk about the black middle class, I mean, one of the things that I've been writing a lot about is the factor of greed. I mean, the fact is, I know lots of middle class and upper class black people that are one paycheck away from poverty. So the idea that somehow, because of the accumulated debts in their lives, I mean, one of my sisters who was living a very, very bourgeois life found herself homeless after she lost her job. I mean, and I saw her spiral from, you know, her Mercedes, her BMW, her $400,000 life into homelessness in a matter of months. Because so that I think that if we want to talk about why a black middle class or an upper black middle class has to have different values in terms of how we deal with our own materialism, is we can't talk about sharing resources that we don't have to share because of our own levels of greed. I mean, I am interested in talking about what kinds of values do we replace market values with, and how do we do that?
But see, I don't think the black middle class is any more greedy than any other middle class ever existed. In fact, in some ways less so, because we do have certain survivor's guilt that we've talked about before. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I don't want to lose this dialectic we started off with in terms of internal to the black community and what's external. We're living in a society that has certain obligations to its citizens. I don't care who they are. And they're indifferent given the death and disease and destruction that's been ravaging black America for the last 15 years. They're elites who don't give a damn for the most part. And we cannot overlook their role in terms of their wealth that they have. We've got a lumpen bourgeoisie. We've got a middle class that has never been a truly middle class, even though it does have obligations. All wealth in the middle class is equivalent to the wealth of white workers. We have income that's higher, but not wealth, because we couldn't get houses because of discrimination and keeping the suburbs vanilla and so forth, and that was federal policy that did that. We can tell a story about that.
Right.
So I don't want to lose sight of the external. We can't existential nightmare, morally obligated with our class privilege and our access and opportunities to alleviate the suffering of black people. Because I can't talk we can't talk about white America and their thing when we're sitting up here with Yellowstone Forest in our own eye. And that's the issue that Glenn and Bell are here pushing us on, right? How do we talk about personal commitment? No, I agree with that. I agree with that. But to be talking about white people is easy. That's not white people. Talking about white people is easy. Powerful white people. White people. Okay, working class folks. Talking about rich white people is easy. Okay, cool. I got that. Talking about rich white people. That's easy. But we're not talking about them personally. We're talking about wealth that they have. No, fine. I agree with that, Cornel, with you. All I'm saying is, let's do something uncharacteristic and bring it home. And talk about what we're going to do. We need to be pushed. I'm saying that we've got celebrities up here. How do we mobilize your celebrity status so that we can produce an infrastructure so that those who opt for whatever reasons to live on the ground, in the bush,
working with Leroy and Raheem, right, have the kinds of resources so that you do your thing and it's cool. Because we got to have everybody everywhere, right? But there's an infrastructure that says that Raheem and Katrina and Rashida, right, they have resources coming to them that are provided by our celebrity intelligentsia who got the access. Sorry, Margaret.
One of the things I feel is that I notice that I keep saying something. See, Cornel, I thought you said exactly what I said using different terminology. I didn't feel that you and I were disagreeing from one another.
Right.
I want to say that one of the resources I feel I have specific to intellectual experience is critical thinking and critical consciousness. And it seems to me, I think particularly because I came out of the working black poor, I feel strongly the need to share that resource because I feel that what enabled me was that capacity to think critically and analytically and to act in relationship to my thoughts. So that I think a lot about how can that be effectively shared beyond the academy with diverse black communities. And it seems to me that one of the big issues, and as I think about us here, is the question of literacy and the fact that so much of black intellectual thought is shared in written discourse, in forums that are apart from a diversity of black presence and experience. And it seems to me, I would like us maybe to have a space where we share what we try to concretely do. I mean, I think that one, I feel deeply that black intellectuals have to move outside the academy to share how we think and what we think about. And there are many ways to do that. I know that people like Cornel do that through the church. Eugene, I myself try to go, I go to cities now. I ask people, where do black people hang out? Okay, go ahead.
No, I don't want to stop you. I want you to go on, but I'd like you to talk a bit about what you do.
Well, that's what I was going to say.